right. Good to see you guys. Glad to have you back. I'm Joe with Cowboy Cartel.
Hey guys, I see y'all again. It's Lionel with Cowboy Boots, Hats, and Western Life Enthusiasts.
What's up, guys? It's Clay with Cowboy Cartel.
And this is our first podcast where we are going to be sending everything straight to a podcast host, and it will be available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. So we actually uploaded our last episode, and that went pretty well, but this is the first one where we're actually recording and knowing it's going to go. So, what hat's everybody wearing tonight?
Well, today I got my American 5200, the steel bits in there.
I've got my custom Greeley Hat Works 50X.
All right. That Greeley. How you liking that, Clay?
I'm liking it so far. It's definitely an interesting wear. It fits great. It's taken some time to get in the shape right. They come with a custom cedar block that sits inside the crown to keep shape to your head, and you got to be careful the way you put that thing in there. If it's not exactly lined, it'll start throwing your brim off one way or the other. So you got to be real careful with it, and it's definitely one of those hats where you've got to adjust it several times before you get it really right. I've reshaped it twice already, kind of on the brim, and I've worn it. I've sweated it. I'm gonna wear it 2 or 3 more times, and then finally throw some stiffener on it, and it should stay after that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Today I'm wearing my 500X Silver Belly from American Hat Company. This hat was shaped by Ryan at Best Hat Store, and it looked great as soon as he shaped it, in the video, and loved it. Looked perfect. Put it in a box because middle of summer, I think it was 100 degrees outside, and I switched to a stroll. I went back to the hotel and I did some. I forget what I was doing. I did some things in Fort Worth. I think I did that first Joby video, and by the time I got home, I had just a little bit of issue with the brim on one side. It had kind of fallen a little bit, so Joby touched this up for me on the most recent video we did with Joby. What about boots? I'm wearing my Lucchese Terlingua chocolate elephant skin boots today. Love these boots. I've got the black version and the chocolate version. The chocolate's the most recent, and I've had a lot of trouble getting this one broke in, but I've been wearing them a lot. Oh, and got my American Hat Company T-shirt on today.
So, funny you should ask about boots. I took mine off and had the liberty of actually showing it to you guys in person. So,
That's the new
here
Rojo.
I got my, Ruho. Ruho hornbacks, and this is in the square toe, and man, I love these boots. They just fit so great. Right off the bat, this is my second time wearing them for a full day, and they're just so comfortable. I mean, it's not even fair. Hornbacks are supposed to be uncomfortable the first day, and they just work really nice.
It's a great looking pair of boots, man. I've got my Dan Post Deuce on. They've got a matte black finish. It's the first pair of boots I've ever had like this, and they're very interesting. They fit well. They wear well. They're kind of hard to match with stuff, but I enjoy them.
Thanks for the compliment, Clay.
Yes, sir. I love those, man. The hornback looks great. I remember when you sent me a picture of those, and I was excited for them. It was a great looking pair of boots.
Yep. Thank you. Well, I heard Ruho might be releasing some new sizes next year, so hopefully they'll go all the way up to yours. I know some of you guys out there have been.
We definitely need to have a conversation with them about that.
Yeah, Jim from the group, he's been asking Ruho to make some larger size boots too, hasn't he? Well,
I think there's definitely a market there for them.
Well, I just did the Fenolio boot video today. it's actually uploading, and I'm not going to release it to YouTube until Friday. Right now, it's going to go straight to the Cowboy Cartel group. I'm going to let them watch it for a week, and it's going to go to Finolio to make sure there's no problems. So if you guys want to see it, you can check it out at Cowboy Cartel group, the Facebook group. But I did that today, and I saw that they make that 17 double E clay. So what's going on with that? You going to get those Finolios?
We're in talks at the moment. The only thing that they had in stock when I called them was a 17B, which was we both thought was kind of a little weird on sizing. What we're going to do at the moment, because they're kind of worried about my foot being so wide, when I come to Texas, we're going to go out that way, and they're actually going to custom measure my foot and make me a last. I think is what we're going to do.
Nice.
Joe, I was there when you made that video, and I don't want to spill too much information because I know you said you're releasing this video later on in the week. But I was just wondering if you took a glimpse of that very special, odd size last.
What was it? I think it's a. Yeah, I don't think I saw it, but I did saw that it was a. I think it was a 15 7A. No, it was like a 7A. I think it was like a 5A maybe or something like that. It was a bunch of A's. So I remember that. It was the
16 double A. It was a really long, skinny foot.
Yeah. I have him talking about that. But the funny thing is, so we went to American and we filmed all afternoon, and I used 2 cameras all day. And then, it was like 110 degrees that day. And once we got to Finolio, I filmed the entire factory tour. In the last 3 minutes, my camera overheated, and it was done. So I had to throw some pictures in there at the end, but it's cut a little short. But it is what it is. It was an impromptu factory tour, actually. So Cody Bates hooked us up with that factory tour. Cody Bates is the VP of Operations out at American Hat Company, and so we got that factory tour, and we were really happy to have it, and I'm going to send that to them just in case. Maybe there's something that they don't want on video. Since it was such a short notice thing, I'm going to let them look at it before I release it to YouTube. But there's nothing really, special about me releasing it later, other than the fact that I just want to give them a chance to look at it first.
Exactly. Back to that American video. If you guys have not seen that video that Joe released, that is a phenomenal video. It's definitely worth sitting down for an hour and watching that video. There's a lot of great information that I've never seen anybody else put out about American, and that's probably, like I told Joe when I watched this, I think that is the deepest dive I've ever seen inside of American Hat Company ever.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and it was a lot of fun, and I have all these questions, and I know everybody else wants to know what it is, and specifically, the X Factor was a huge issue, and they're really tight-lipped about, and right, and so we've kind of got the secret sauce to the X Factor ironed out. We know what it is. Of course, we couldn't go duplicate it, but we know at least what the different X Factor means in American hats now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my post. It's on the American Hat Company enthusiast group.
Right, and that's
Speaking of which,
that's relative
go ahead.
to. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going to say that's relative to basically all the companies out there. At least we did get some good information out of American within the X Factors, but that's relative to every other companies out there, whether it be Stetson, Resistol, Rodeo King. We won't know any of those answers. So right now with American, we have more answers than any other companies.
That's right, and it all comes down to. If you ask the right questions and wait long enough, you're going to get the answers. And, it's taken us a while, and we don't have all the answers, but we at least know starting point, and a lot more than we knew just trying to search the internet. But speaking of American Hat Company Enthusiast Group, so we've got a lot of stuff going on there, man. 17,300 members currently. That's a lot. I mean, when we started that, I think we had 34 members, and I thought, I guess this isn't going anywhere. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of started growing, and then all of a sudden, you've got 200 plus a day new members. And we try to leave that group open so that everybody can look at it, and it can be, if you have. If you're using the Facebook algorithm and it says, oh, you might like this post, or you might like this, or you like American hats, it'll send you the right information, and you can see stuff from our group. And we do that to help promote the brand and drive membership. Well, when you do that, you always run the risk of spammers. And we have taken a lot of different steps to combat spammers. We added more moderators, and I think we're up to 10 moderators and 3 admin at this point. So
and we've got a great
we're doing everything we can. Yeah, absolutely. Moderators are fantastic. They are all over any kind of spam activity, but spammers still get through. So
they're working the other pages too.
Yes, absolutely. So last weekend we implemented the a kind of a approval, so a post approval. If you're not a member, or if you're a new member, you've never posted before, you are going to have to be approved by an admin or moderator. And it's really simple. We look at your request, and if your Facebook is fairly old and meets some criteria, it's automatically approved. If not, it goes to a moderator for approval. And if you look like a spammer, you're gone. Actually, you're not gone. You're just not allowed to post. So if you come across that, where you're not allowed to post and you think maybe it was done by error, shoot us an email or a message, and let us know that you can't get in. So anyway, Mike K is on the chat right now. So good to see you. Welcome. All right. What do we got here? So because we're this podcast started out as a just a couple of guys, 3 guys talking about hats and boots and everything, Western industry. Then it kind of got a little bigger, and we decided we need a structure to it. So we got a structure today. We're not holding to it very tightly. As this goes along, this is only podcast number 4, so we're going to get a little better at holding to that. And it's a little easier with you guys in the audience currently, because I can edit this in post, and it'll look better on on YouTube later or in the podcast. So right now, let's just talk about what our podcast is going to be here. So we have our first episode. It was about 3 hours, 2.5 hours, I think it was. And that was too long.
It was 2 hours and 45 some minutes.
that was too long. I mean, we enjoyed ourselves, but I mean, editing turned out to be a nightmare, and it just wasn't very good. And then our last one, which is episode 3, was an hour, and that wasn't long enough because we stayed in here, after the fact, and I think we talked for another hour. So right now we're going to hold it to an hour to an hour and a half. And if we don't have enough things to talk about, we're going to cut it short, And if we have more things to talk about, we can talk for an hour and a half. So that's where we're at right now. If you have any questions, or if you want us to talk about something specific, email us at the podcast at cowboycartelgroup.com, and we'll see if we can make that happen. If you have any suggestions for how we should lay this podcast out, we're more than happy to hear that too. All right. So we talked about the American group. We talked about our moderator action. All right. Lionel, what do you got? You got anything for us?
Yeah, I got a couple things. One thing that we just got started this week, and that was just wanted to get started. is the Montana Silversmith enthusiast page that we just got started on Facebook, and it's basically, you know, folks will say, oh well, it's just for buckles. Well, Montana Silversmith makes a lot more than buckles. They also make hat feathers, and the silver ones. They have home decor. They have bolo ties, cuffs, ladies' jewelry. So anybody that wants to post anything for Montana Silversmith related, please do so. It's a great page.
Yeah, so, I buy Montana Silversmith. I've got a couple buckles, and they make some great stuff for the money. You've got way more expensive options. I've got a custom buckle, but Montana Silversmith does a good job, and that silver feather they have, it's kind of on my list. I've got a list of things, and no spoilers, but I'm trying to do something with the Montana Silversmith, and maybe do that with either the Cowboy Cartel group or the American group. I haven't decided yet. Clay, how about you?
We've got a few things in the works. I still working on this Greeley hat review to get out. Unfortunately, we've been so busy these past 2 weeks with other ventures and trying to keep up with some of these moderator actions between these. I don't know. I don't think I'm moderating at least 5 or 6 pages now at this point. trying to keep up with everything like that. I've got a date set up here in the next 2 weeks with Mr. Laney House of Lane Creek Custom Hatters to get some things going like that. So we've got a few things going on, and definitely excited for the trip coming up here to Texas. Trying to get some things wrapped up with that for we can definitely get in at least a few videos while we're down there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's been busy, and we do have a lot of groups, and there's a couple of reasons for that. American Hat Company has 17,000 members. I mean, that's a lot, and you could not possibly have all of those people talking at one time. But we reach them with posts, and if they have a question at some point in time, they can always pop in and ask a question. Well, you've got that many people, you kind of have to spread the interest across multiple groups. So we try to be specific for certain things. Cowboy Cartel group and Cowboy Boots, Hats, and Western Life Enthusiasts are a little different. I focus on this channel or the Cowboy Cartel channel, my Cowboy Cartel page, some of my my patches and stuff. I've got some new stuff coming out, so we talk about a lot of that. Got these new Texas patches coming out. Actually, they're out now.
Awesome.
So thank you. And Lionel's page, there's a myriad of things on Lionel's page. It's got knives and leather makers and general boot and Western life talk and chat.
All that guns.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then there's the Lucchese page where that's specific to Lucchese if you're a Lucchese enthusiast, and then we have Rodeo King that I don't think anybody's really any of us are really active in right now.
Yep.
Once in a blue moon, I see we get a post in there.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some Rodeo King enthusiasts out there. I think they're just kind of hiding in the woodworks.
Right.
Very solid with
American
Rodeo King guys.
Yeah. So American's been kind of my baby since we started this. I've been a huge fan of American, and I kind of I took the reins of that and spent a lot of my time in there. But
Well, I mean, not against any of these other brands, but it's hard to step away from one, the group being so big, and two, a company that makes such a solid hat, and no matter where you get it at. I mean, 7X to 1,000X, you've got a solid hat all the way through.
Absolutely. And, and it's the people too, when we talk to Cody Bates, they've got about 100 people in that small factory, and they are a huge player in this game. You know, they're we talked about the new Yellowstone project with American when I was there, when we were there, and that just kind of rolls me into what I wanted to talk about, because I just saw the season 5 premiere of Yellowstone is scheduled to drop on November 13th.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So Mike K is asking a question here. Let's address that real quick. So if somebody doesn't have an American hat or Montana Silversmith product, can they still join the enthusiast Facebook group? Absolutely. If you don't have an American hat and you really like the product and you want to know more about it, and that's going to drive your interest to buy the product and ultimately be a fan, and just really embrace it like we do, absolutely. Please join it, talk about it, ask questions.
Definitely would love them.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody should ask questions. I don't think I've seen a stupid. Here's the thing: the only dumb question is the one you don't ask, right? So.
Exactly.
Yep.
And especially, not toward the Montana Silversmith page, we're starting to get going on that, but definitely the American hat side. You might get lucky and somebody post a good 10 or 40X in your size for a good price.
Yeah, I saw.
I mean, we see guys, wanting to upgrade all the time and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I might have a couple hats coming up for sale soon myself. Kevin jumped on one of them. Kevin's our good buddy and fellow American Hat Company brand ambassador. He's going to buy my 10X pecan. So that sold even before I got to list it. So I've got a black cherry 7X and I've got a 40X black hat that are going to go. I got to make some room for stuff coming in and stuff I don't wear, obviously. Anyway, go ahead.
While we're on Kevin for a second, if you guys ever have an opportunity to talk to Kevin, man, that is a great guy, and he's got a breadth of information for you too. And I see him on the page, man, all the time, answering questions, helping people out. So,
I talk to Kevin almost every day. Kevin's a great guy. He loves to talk about hats. He loves to talk about the industry. He's very well connected in the industry. If I need something, chances are he's got a contact for it. He's been doing this quite a while, and he goes out there and he represents American hats at different events and venues. So he knows people from, the Western music industry, big names, he knows big name rodeo players. He's well connected. He introduced me to Joby for the first time. He knows everybody at Best Hat, obviously. So yeah, Kevin's a great guy, and we really appreciate what he does in the group.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. And guys, if you guys are looking for a specific hat, ask him. He'll know every piece of inventory between Fort Worth to Bowie.
Yeah, that's Kevin. Kevin got that hat Lionel's wearing right there. He found it. He found that hat for Lionel when we couldn't find it anywhere in the DFW area.
You will find
2 weeks ago.
Looking for.
Yes.
He'll definitely know where to go.
It'll probably get you a deal too, right?
Yeah, maybe. No, he won't.
So, all right, back to Yellowstone. We all know that American is now making hats, and they're involved in the Yellowstone project. With their sponsorship of Taylor Sheridan and the Bosque Ranch. So that's a big deal. And I saw the 4.6s. It's coming out soon. I haven't seen a firm date on that yet. But what else? Recently I saw the Amberly Snyder movie on Netflix. That's a great representation, and she just signed with American.
Yep, phenomenal.
It's Walk Ride Rodeo.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you saw it, Clay? Yep. I
I have not seen it. I have been meaning to see it. I have. That's one of the ones I've not watched yet. It's on my list.
you're
Yeah,
in
I
for a
saw it.
treat, my friend.
Yeah, I saw it about a week ago or so. I hadn't seen it either. It had been my list, and I finally took the time. I had to watch it in a couple settings because I've been really busy with the videos lately. So
Told you it was worth it, right?
yeah, right.
I've definitely heard great things about it, but I mean, even looking, talking about the American and Taylor Sheridan, he's got at least 4 or 5 projects coming out right now, different things. So, American's definitely going to have themselves busy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So real quick, we got a question here. So Mike K's asking again, how are we able to keep track of the model numbers for the American Hat Company hats? He says he struggles to remember them, and I don't know the model number of the hat Lionel's wearing. I know it's a 51 something, but
52.
I know what I wear, and I know what I like. I own a 6100, I own a 5050, I own a 7800. I got a 5100. I got a 5100 on the way, so that's basically the 5050 in a different color. What was that one, Lionel?
5200.
Okay, so it's kind of, if you buy a hat or you buy a car, you kind of remember the model number. If you've got a Honda Civic, you know what it is. So I'm not gonna remember every hat, but I know what I own, and Lionel knows what he owns, and these kind of things. Or if you see something and it might be on the list, like for me, it's the 1022, and the 1011 is the different color version of that, so I kind of associate that. It's kind of easy to associate that. I know I want the 1022, but the 1011 is a little different color. It's just kind of easy. And when I first started looking at the American Hat Company numbers on their straw, I had no idea what it meant. Is it ranked from highest to lowest? Well, you've got the Tough Cooper, so I think it's a TC number, and then something after that. So the answer to the question is, I can't remember them all. I mean, I'm sure Cody Bates knows them all, but you remember the ones that you like and the ones you see, and the longer you do it, you remember it.
Like
The biggest thing with me is just like you say, it's what I own, what I like, and then looking at the American group, what's posted the most. I mean, if you really
Right.
watch, there's a trend of what people buy, and especially the 7800 is a big one. A lot of people buy the 7800, and you see a lot of people searching for that hat. Even like Joe, Joe talked about it in the American video a little bit with Cody about they didn't think that hat was going to be as big of a success. It wasn't. I got one over here too. It's an absolutely wonderful hat, man. It's a great quality, and it's something you can work in. You can go out with it. It's just it's a great hat, and I don't know if a lot of people pay attention. Something I've noticed with the American numbers, if you start at the lowest, it starts with Bangora, and then moves into Polyrope, then into Sissel, and then into your higher quality straws.
Maybe you're right.
number
I thought it was
goes up.
Polyrope first, but you're probably right. And see, a Polyrope is actually on my list.
Yeah, in the 500s is the Bangora.
So, yeah,
Bangor starts at 120.
I don't know. I do know I want a Polyrope just because of its lightweight and durability, and just to try it out and see. 7800 to me is heavy. It's heavy and hot. It's a great looking hat, but I'm probably not gonna wear it to a NASCAR event. I'm gonna wear the 50/50, or I'm gonna wear a silver belly, depending on the time of year. 70 degrees.
When
Go ahead.
that's what. So this hat is it cools down. It's really nice, but realistically, I know it's not going to be as effective as the 50/50 for the cooling down. Now, I know people are saying Polyrope is the ultimate cool down hat, but honestly, at that point, I'd rather wear a 50/50. My personal opinion. But if you want to know more about actually wearing or the hat numbers, your best bet is to go on American Hat's website, and they'll have every single straw listed in every color, so this is the straw you're looking at, and you could order it from there. From that
But
point on.
and that's a problem though.
Yep.
Like the 6100, excuse me, the 6100. When Lionel and I first bought the 6100s, I didn't like it, but it was such a great deal. You know, we had to get them, but I didn't like it because the pictures on the American website were really bad, and they look completely different in person. And I don't have one next to me, but I would show that. But the 6100, actually, it's on. It's on the video I just did. You can see it when she's sewing the wire into the band. That's a 6100 that she's sewing the wire into.
Yep, I remember that.
You know, it's a pretty well liked hat when you got the fake copies of them. You know, American. If you start looking, there's a few American Type S styles popping up in these other hat companies.
50,
And I
52.
say that, yeah, there's a couple 50/50s, yeah, or a couple versions of the 50/50.
They had the 7800, the 6100.
Yeah, they've got the I forget the other one. It's the 7800, but it's only like a small strip of the pattern for the 7800. They've got that one. That one's pretty prevalent too. But yeah, I mean, they're getting. I don't know how that works. I mean, I guess I should have asked Cody because he talks about how they make hats a year in advance, or they start making hat bodies for the straws a year in advance because it takes so long to to do the weaving and have the product on hand. So, should have asked him, why is it that all of these other companies have a version of the hat, or how did they get that version of the hat? I would think, it'd be proprietary. Say, this is my design. Don't sell it to anybody else. I don't know. Oh, what are we talking about here? Okay, so we
But
talked
they
about,
probably change it just
yeah.
enough where it's not an issue, but you definitely know the quality's different.
Well, it's not getting lacquered the same. We know that for sure because we didn't even get to film in the lacquer room at American, and that was because it's a proprietary process. We know they use a different lacquer. We know they lacquer a little differently than other people. We know they lacquer twice. We know they use a glazed body to begin with to give it a little bit more of a shine. There's a lot. I mean, you could learn a lot from that video. And if you have a hat, I noticed like the 7800, it has the little bumps he's talking about where they start and stop the weave pattern, just right here, just at the beginning, and you can kind of see where that happens. You can't because I got this bright light, but it's cool to know a lot of the process. It really helps to understand the hat and all of that. All right. Back to what we were talking about.
What Clay
Go ahead.
was talking about earlier. Oh, I'm sorry. Back
No,
to what
go
Clay
ahead.
was talking about earlier. He said, that the way that the hats are made, from Rodeo King as opposed to American, we all know it's different, but you kind of see, the people that are making the hat, their enthusiasm in it, it reflects big time on the hat, so, the fact that, Rodeo King might be on the page of, we're just pumping out hats and, they're not out there like that, it kind of reflects on their hat quality as opposed to American right there. You could see how passionate and how dedicated they are. You could speak to them. And, it's a whole different motto.
So, and that's another thing.
Yeah, to me, Americans not just hat builders,
Exactly.
man. They're craftsmanship.
Right.
They're craftsmen.
So, that's another thing. I said in my video, everybody I met there absolutely loves their job. They love what they do. And Cody told us, you can't think of a better place to go to work. Mitch, one of our moderators on American Hat Company Enthusiast Group, loves his job, loves making hats. These guys, every one of them, like what they do, love the product they make, and Obviously, we love it. We've been talking about it all through the podcast so far.
Yep.
I mean, I could talk American all day long.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just,
But
oh,
no, go ahead. We got a little bit of delay
I
here,
know.
so go ahead, Lionel.
Go ahead, not a problem. No, so I was just going to say, it's just, again, it's just all about, the enthusiasm they have and really putting that out there into the craftsmanship, and yeah, they do love what they do. And at the end of the day, that makes a huge difference in how your hat is made. Um, I've told, Joe that, when I first got my hat, I wanted a Stetson, and everybody wants Stetson. That's just a hat that most people know. And I really wanted to be affiliated with Stetson and, resist all. Everybody says Stetson for felt, resist all for straw. And, I love the picture, the man giving, the horse water with his 10-gallon hat. But at the end of the day, even though I wasn't really paying that much attention to American, I immediately went towards American because the quality was just so awesome. And I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much you want to stick to a brand. If you see the quality on another hat is better, and then the enthusiasm is better, you're just gonna go for it. And me working in rodeos, everybody's wearing American over there. They know.
And since you said that, I'm going to say, and I was kind of the opposite. I wanted American. I wanted American steel, but this was last year, but I couldn't get one. So I wound up, I knew I wanted a steel hat, and so I bought a Stetson open crown steel, and it's a great hat. It really is a good hat, and it feels good. It's much better. It's much better than the pre-shaped, $250 hats that you can go to Cavender's and pick up. I mean, those are good hats if you just want to grab a Stetson and you just want to, you don't care. You got a pre-shaped hat. You just want a decent hat. Well, I think I've said this before. The difference between the 6X pre-shaped and the 7X open crown is about a factor of 10. So I would say the 7X Stetson open crown is probably equivalent to a 10X American, and even in price, So it's a great hat, but it still wasn't an American, and that's what I wanted. Finally, I was able to get, I wasn't expecting to get a 500X steel American, but I'm very happy to have it, and I wear it. I just wore it Friday to work, and 105 degrees, no problem. All right. So,
I started both differently, than both of y'all did. I started in the Rodeo King side of things, and definitely learned quickly that there's a big difference. They make great quality hats, but unfortunately, you can't contact them.
No.
They're
we talked about this on our last podcast, I think.
Seller, we've tried several times to get in contact with them.
Yep.
Yeah. They're very hard to get. Actually, they don't want you to call them. They want you to call their distributors. So
They want us to call their competition.
I know a lot of people like the Rodeo King, and there's a person I work with. He likes Rodeo King because they fit better than the American for him. Well, and that could be difference between a round oval, which is actually a regular oval, or a long oval. And, I think American can actually fit anybody, but you have to find the right one. I don't like the feel of the Rodeo King.
I think a lot of that too with I think a lot of that too on the preference of the sizing and fit. A lot of it is getting the right hat shaper. Because most of what you see American, especially in the felt, is open crown. And if you've got somebody that's not truly shaping that hat to the size of your head and stretching it the way you need it, it's not going to fit right.
Well, when I get the, I wear a long oval, and for me, a 7 1/4 long oval is just a little bit too big, but 7 1/8 is too small. So I tape all of my hats. This is a long oval, and it's taped in the back. The steel that I got from Joby is a regular oval, and it was really tight front to back. Joby stretched it, and it still wasn't enough. By the time I got home, I had to wear it inside the house. I wore it for several hours every day. I was trying to stretch it out. I wore it to work several times, sweat in it, let it stretch out. And it actually fits better now than this hat because it will, it's tighter front to back, and it stays on better. I mean, this hat's not going anywhere. But the regular oval.
Kind of like boots.
Yeah. All right. We got off schedule there a little bit, but that's okay. We talked about some interesting stuff, and hopefully somebody will like it. So I wanted to talk about movies. We talked about the Amberly Snyder movie on Netflix. That kind of brought me to what's the best Western, And that's subjective. You can go to Rotten Tomato and you'll find one answer. You go to IMDb and you find another answer, the top 50, top 10, top 100 different Westerns. So, Tombstone, I remember going to see Tombstone in the theaters in 1993. It was out. I went and saw that movie probably 5 times in the theater. Loved that movie. Unforgiven, 1992. I didn't see that until probably early 2000s, mid 2000s, something like that. But Clint Eastwood, great movie. Blazing Saddles, 1974. Awesome movie. Completely politically incorrect and probably would be canceled right now. I'm looking. You better download it if you haven't seen it because it'll be gone soon.
Oh, 100%.
It's offensive to everyone. But just a funny,
was it
Mel Brooks, right? Mel Brooks movie?
Yep, Mel Brooks, the man.
Hilarious movie. But
yep.
one of my favorites is the movie
hilarious.
Humps. Have you guys ever seen that? I think that's 1976. It's a bunch of cavalry soldiers in the 1800s Civil War era, and they're going to get these Arabian horses to be their cavalry horses, and the truckload or the caravan of horses come in and wind up being a bunch of camels. So they've got camels as their cavalry mount, and they're just completely stuff. All right, I have to bleep that. They're completely upset about that, and then they learn to love these camels. But it's a funny movie, and it's a really good movie. I remember seeing that as a kid.
Yeah, it's funny you were talking about Civil War era, because one of the cool thing I think that Taylor Sheridan did is how he went with 1883 and kind of unified people that were on each end of the playing field, where Tim McGraw was an old Confederate soldier, and Sam Elliott was an old Union soldier, and they ended up working together as one, but they all had their nightmares from the war, so they kind of remembered all that, and I think that's just he just kind of set it up really good, because it was just post Civil War era when the events happened of 1883.
Yeah, I watched 1883. It was good. I mean, I would have written it differently, but I wouldn't have killed the main character in the first season. I mean, because I don't care how you look at it. She was the voiceover for most of the first season. Why would you kill her? Now what are you going to do? But I mean, Tim McGraw can't carry it alone. He did a good job in the movie, but it wasn't about him, really.
Yeah, with the biggest thing with 1883, unless they've changed it, last I heard, that's it. They're cutting it off.
Are they?
So there won't be any more of that, and then they're going to that 1932 and jumping again to give another look at the Duttons and how they are, the Yellowstone.
Okay.
Farther into closer to present.
See, I didn't look into that. I didn't know that they were one and done on that specific show.
Yeah, it was more of a series than a show. A special event type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Explanatory scenes or explanatory series is what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
But oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, the whole thing about it was, because they wanted to make one line, and that's the reason why they had to kill her off, because they had, John Senior, which was the little boy in the movie, adorable little kid, by the way. But John Senior, that was supposed to be one line towards the Duttons, so it wasn't supposed to be, cousins, because if you actually look at the show Yellowstone, they don't have any cousins. You never heard about them having any cousins or anything like that, which is kind of weird because through the generation that would have maybe expanded.
Right.
But it always seems to be one line. So I guess he wanted to keep everything through truth through the whole series.
Yeah, and so what is it, 1933? Is that the new one?
I believe it's 1932.
1932.
Hold on, I'll give you an exact date on that here in 1 second.
Well,
I believe it's 1932.
Either way, 1932, 1933. Harrison Ford signed on to do that one.
1923. I'm sorry.
1923.
I have my numbers back.
That's what they're going to call it, because I've heard rumors of both 1932 and 1923.
Now, if you go on Paramount Network's Instagram, they have announced, I believe it was 5 shows that Taylor Sheridan is doing through Paramount Network that they have put on. Billy Bob Thornton's in one of them. Sylvester Stallone's in one of them.
Yeah, I saw.
So, I mean, he's killing the industry right now. He's definitely a big name. He's taking over.
I saw an interview with Taylor Sheridan where he talks about his career. I think he spent 15 years being, a bit part actor, and he was okay. I mean, must have been a good actor because I hated him in what was that? What was the motorcycle movie? The Sons of Anarchy. I hated him. I hated his character. So
yep, Son of Anarchy.
Yeah, so he must have been a decent actor, but he said if you're doing this 15 years and you haven't made it yet, you're never going to make it. So he kind of found out by accident he was good at writing, and I think that's debatable. I think the Yellowstone series is well written. It's very good. I think if he thinks everything he did was great, he's wrong. Sicario was a big pile of crap. What is it? Wind River? It was just okay. So he's not putting out hits every time, but he did nail it pretty good with Yellowstone, the original.
Yeah, before Yellowstone, he was a screenwriter as well on Hell or High Water, which was a massive hit.
Was it really?
I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's a great movie.
No, but I did see the Mayor of Kingstown or something like that, which he did recently.
Yeah, that's his show. He also
that's very good.
Yeah, he also did a movie with that same actor that's on Netflix. I cannot think of the name of it at the moment. I was trying to find it, but I can't find it. But that was a movie he did before Yellowstone as well.
All I know is Sicario. Oh yeah, that's the Wind River I was just talking about. Wind River. It was okay.
Okay, is that what it is? Okay. Yeah, it wasn't horrible,
no.
But it wasn't. It's not as big as his like Yellowstone was, of course.
Yeah. So another thing is I've also seen him use similar actors or the same actors from Yellowstone in 1883, and also apparently in 1923 because from 1883 Billy Bob Thornton was in it. So if he's going to be again in 1923, that means he's reusing this actor. And also, I don't know if y'all noticed, but the cook in 1883 was the sheriff that killed all those two horse bandits on with the truck and the horse trailer.
In the horse trailer, yeah. Yeah, we talked about that before, Lyle. You and I remember that.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, check it out. The cook driving the chuck wagon in 1883, and the guy killing two bandits with the truck when he was part of the livestock commission.
yeah, that's kind of that.
Interesting. I haven't noticed that.
That's kind of that Quentin Tarantino thing where Tarantino uses the same actors over and over again. Yeah.
It's just fine.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. He knows.
Speaking of Tarantino, even Tarantino has put out. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Since speaking of even Tarantino has put out one or two Western-esque movies here in the past couple of years that are even give you different insights of what's going on.
Django, and didn't he do Django? That was,
a lot of satire in his movies. Django Unchained, and then he had it's the Something 8 with Samuel L. Jackson. I can't think.
The Hateful
of the name
Eight.
Of it.
The Hateful Eight.
I liked.
Is he in there?
Yeah.
I liked the
that
Hateful
was
Eight.
him. Yeah, that was him. Yeah, that was
I
a
enjoyed
crazy
that.
movie for sure. A lot of blood splattering,
Yeah.
like more than it would usually be.
You know what though? One of the
and,
biggest movies, if you look up westerns at all, and the most quoted movies, it's really a series, is Lonesome Dove. I cannot get into that movie. I've tried and tried. I just cannot get interested in it. You guys seen that?
I understand that. I have.
I could agree with you as well. By the way, Joe.
All right.
So
Yeah, I agree.
One of the series that I've watched, and they call it spaghetti western, which is basically a western from Italy. And if you guys want to have a good laugh, take a look at it because a lot of American folks, we even like to watch them. But I don't know if y'all ever heard of Bud Spencer and Terrence Hill.
No.
All right, well they remake it in English, but I was going to say in American, but it's awesome to watch. And if you guys want to have a good laugh and watch some good show, I mean, it's good. It's older, they're two Italian guys, but it's funny and it's really fun to watch. My grandfather used to get a kick out of it, laughed till he almost croaked.
If you're talking about on the Western front and some of the best Western movies, it's hard to leave out Young Guns.
Great movie.
And with the Regulators and Billy the Kid and both Young Guns and Young Guns 2, great movies. If you never sat down and watched them, it's definitely an interesting look on that side of the Regulators and Billy the Kid. And,
As a matter of fact, I watched that probably a month or so ago. Again, I saw it. Again, I want to say I saw it when it came out in theaters. Dating myself there, but yeah, it's a great movie. Great soundtrack, just really good movie. Not historically accurate, I guess, but still a good movie. Entertainment.
No, a lot
Yeah.
of fiction to it, but yeah, definitely a great movie. If you want Billy the Kid, there's several, at least 2 or 3 specials I've watched about Billy the Kid, and there's a movie, Billy the Kid movie, that's a little, a lot more accurate to what actually happened.
I just watched the Hatfield and McCoys. Actually, that speaking of historically accurate, it's a movie with Kevin Costner. It's on, I want to say, Amazon Prime. It's another one of those miniseries. I think it's 4 or 5 episodes. Great movie. Supposed to be historically accurate. But Kev Costner did a great job in that. As always. I mean, he kills it. Always. All right. What else we got? You guys got anything else on that? Anything new?
Yeah. Well, there was a movie. Oh, we're still on movies, right?
We're on
A little bit.
host topics.
Um.
Host topic number 2.
So there was a movie with Brad Pitt where he played Jesse James. I forgot the name of it, but man, that movie was really
Something
really well
Jesse
done.
James and that bastard something or other. That coward
Ford.
John Ford.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I know what
something
you're talking
like
about. I've got 2 computers right here in front of me.
It was a really good movie and very well acted.
Keep talking, Lionel. I'm looking.
Speaking on Yellowstone here for a second, while he's looking on that, if a lot of people like the crime side of Yellowstone, something I've gotten into here recently is the remake of Walker Texas Ranger. The CW has done 2 seasons of it, and
Really?
it definitely gives a better perspective of a newer Walker Texas Ranger in today's society. And in Austin,
Wait.
It's
Say that
based
again.
out
I
of
was
Austin.
looking. Say that again.
There are 2. The CW is 2 seasons in of a Walker Texas Ranger remake with Jared
Joe's gonna
Padalecki
leave us
from
right now,
Supernatural.
and he's
If you've
gonna
ever
go
seen
watch
that.
it.
But yeah, it's based out of Austin, and it's a good show. There's a little bit more politically correct type stuff in it from the CW, but it's a very good show.
I don't even know what to think about that, but okay. All right. I'll have to look into it and see if it's.
I'm looking forward to 460.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max.
Because, yeah, I'll tell y'all some. 4/6 to me was one of my favorite parts of Yellowstone. That part when it got there, I calmed down
100%.
and I really actually enjoyed the show a lot more. It's just so much more authentic and real, and that's what I want to see.
I agree. I think Yellowstone with Kevin Costner is just The Sopranos on horseback, which is not a bad thing. It's entertaining, but if you want to see, Western life, the part where Jimmy goes to the 4/6 is the most interesting part of Yellowstone so far. But to go back, the Jesse James was the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford from 2007.
Yes, sir. Awesome movie.
Okay. Now, it was topic 2. Did you have something else, Lionel?
Almost set. Oh,
Yeah, you had something else, Lionel.
topic 2, right? Oh, yes, I did. I'm sorry. So, big news. I'm actually planning on moving to Texas, Fort Worth, in January.
That's exciting. I mean, I wish you were. I know you're planning to move to the DFW area. I wish you would come down here to Austin so we could collaborate a little more often. But I'm glad to have you at least 3 hours away. That's a lot better than 3 hours by plane, anyway.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. We talk about the move here and what that's going to entail. I think so. Mike says, "Congrats, Lionel, on the move."
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you.
So yeah, we're looking forward to that, and hopefully, we will have more collaborations, and maybe we'll be able to do these podcasts in the same room soon, because Clay. I don't know. Maybe we'll get Clay down here too.
It's definitely been in the conversation. We're looking at it. Yeah, Joe and Lionel knows a little bit more
Did I
about
spill
what's
the
going
beans?
on, but until something's final, that's all we got. Well, you haven't spilled the beans, but it's just trying to figure things out, and I've got that trip coming up. We're trying to figure out some dates on it, so we might sneak in a little house hunting or apartment hunting maybe while I'm there and see what we can figure out for a half a day or something. But I'm probably going to look more towards between the Fort Worth and Austin area to kind of get us in between each.
Yeah, it's oh crap. What is that? What's between? I can't think offhand. It's where the Branch Davidians.
A lot of things. Texas is a big state.
No, you had the Branch Davidians where they had that siege of David Koresh. Where was that?
Yep.
I have to look now. I don't know. Keep talking. Yeah, I mean, you got Colleen. You've got.
Yeah, there's several cities there.
Waco.
We just got to get some stuff figured out
Waco's,
for
there you go.
me. Yeah, Waco isn't it? We got to get some stuff figured out for me and my girl, and to figure out what we're gonna do. So we've definitely I've got some exciting ventures with Joe and I we're speaking on. So on my side, I think we'll be covered. It's just trying to get her figured out and getting her in this area.
Yeah, I hope I didn't spill any beans there. Your mom's probably calling right now. I'm like, what do you mean you're moving to Texas?
No, you're good. You're good.
Your phone's just bouncing
My
off the
mom
table.
was today. That's exactly. Those are where my mom's were today, man. Come on.
Man, I got to get out of Georgia. So
I gotta get
no
out
matter
of
what, I'm
Georgia.
going somewhere. It's either Tennessee. It's either Tennessee. Well, I'm either going to Tennessee, Florida, or Texas. So
I'll
Might as
trade
well
you.
make it
figure it out.
Texas.
I'll trade you for the meantime.
You know, I've always liked Georgia, though.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Anyway, all right. So we're a little behind.
I love Georgia. It's
Go ahead.
The landscape of Georgia is definitely changing though.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I
I love Florida, but for the same reason, it is changing.
yeah. Well, give what they got 10 years probably in Florida, and the population changes, right?
Shit. We're gonna sink. We're max
And
capacity.
unfortunately, Metro Atlanta and Atlanta is starting to look a lot like LA, and I'm not liking it.
Yeah.
I got you. So we're a little behind schedule here. Let's move on to news. We've got Cheyenne Frontier Days this week, and it's what is it? I think it's a 10-day period in the last week of July, spreading July and August. So Frontier Days is going on right now. Lionel and I have been planning on attending the next year's Frontier Days. It's one of the largest outdoor rodeos in the world. It's about 200,000 people every year attend the Frontier Days. It's the daddy of them all. And yesterday was the anniversary of Lane Frost's death at Cheyenne, 33 years ago.
33 years.
Yep.
33 years. Great bull rider, fantastic human being. Just a very kind person and kind of a moral and God-fearing person. His nephew is running Lane Frost Brands at the moment. It was something he decided to do.
Yep.
I think 2016, I want to say, to remember Lane, and so they're selling a lot of hats and T-shirts and buckles. So,
Yep.
I remember again
Yeah, they're
going
they're
to.
also working right now on a Lane Frost documentary as well.
Well, and that brings
Yeah,
me
they
to
are.
what I was going
Well,
to say is I remember seeing 8 Seconds in the early '90s in the theater. That was such a great movie. Luke Perry, who's now also not with us anymore, did a fantastic job in that movie. I mean, it's a great movie. I've watched it. I should have watched it yesterday. I didn't have time. I was in the middle of editing everything.
absolutely got to be the
So,
best rodeo movie ever.
sorry, I'm trying to read and talk, and then we get sidetracked there. So, I need to designate one of you guys as readers. That way, if I'm talking, somebody else can read it. Mike K is asking if it's a silly question. Do you guys normally visit more than one rodeo per year? And so, this is something I was talking to Kevin about yesterday. We're looking at rodeos at the moment. So, we've got Cheyenne Frontier Days going on right now. We couldn't make it to this one. We've got the NFR coming up in December. Lionel's going to that. I would love to go to that, depending on whether I can make it schedule-wise. You've got the Houston Rodeo. These are all huge rodeos, so very, very big, important rodeos. You've got the Houston Rodeo in February, I think, February, March, and then the Austin Rodeo is another huge rodeo. It's in March, April timeframe, something like that. Then you've got the Fort Worth Stockyard Rodeo. I don't remember when that is. There's all kinds of little rodeos. You can hit a rodeo every weekend if you wanted to. There's one next weekend in Bastrop, right here outside of Austin. So it just depends on how many you want to hit or how many you can hit. Yep. Historically, I go to the PBR events. I've been to many for the last 20 years. I've taken my kids to those, when we were in Kentucky and I think Oregon, maybe in Vegas. I don't remember. So, it just depends on what you like and what you want to do. So absolutely, I would hit all of them if I can. So I plan on hitting Houston and at least Austin next year, and probably I'll go to Fort Worth too. And then Cheyenne. Those are on the list for me. I don't know if I'm going to make it to NFR or not. Anyway, you guys?
Yeah, I usually hit at least 2 a month. We have a local circuit, actually
Wow.
4 or 5 local circuits in the state of Georgia that run rodeos, and not only in Georgia, they go up into Tennessee and Florida. And what's funny, actually, I actually have their hats in here. The Professional Cowboy Association run the biggest Georgia circuit. They have 3 rodeos a weekend, all over the state of Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama, and very seldom into Florida. And you see some big names. You see some world finalist top guys. Especially the steer wrestling and team roping, and not as much into the bull riding. But yeah, you see a lot of big names. You never know who you might see at a random rodeo in Georgia.
I know JB Mooney's, rumored to hit some of these little backyard rodeos every once in a while too, just for fun.
To answer your question, Mike, down here in Dayton, Florida, I'm usually working the bigger rodeos, with moving the bulls and whatnot. So I will usually be in those, and then I usually go to Vegas at the end of the year because I work like this year. I'll be working my next rodeo that I'm working is going to be the Southeastern Finals here, and some of the boys that are in the top are going to be going down or going up to Vegas. So those are the rodeos I'm going to hit, and also I'm going to be going um, to NFR finals at the end of the year. But next year, like I said, I will be living in Fort Worth. So at that point, I'll be maybe working Fort Worth's rodeo, God willing. And I'm also going to be hitting up Cheyenne Frontier Days and NFR finals as I usually do.
So the next one for me that I know is coming up first is going to be the Houston Rodeo, which is a huge rodeo here. And talking to Kevin yesterday, I intend to film it, first person perspective. And I have to bleep that out as a mistake. But first person perspective, and kind of give everybody a look at what a rodeo looks like, a big rodeo looks like up front and personal.
Yeah, we might have to make that when I come down.
All right. Houston Rodeo.
Yeah, for sure.
You could fly
Can't
right into
wait.
Houston. I'll just meet you there. But you know what, though? That's so far from American and Nakona. You might actually want to hit the Fort Worth Rodeo instead.
Yep.
And you might want to come for
No,
more than
I'll
3
be
days,
down.
4 days.
We'll
Yeah.
have a conversation.
Yeah, we'll talk
We'll
about that
figure it
offline.
out.
Yeah. So back to what y'all were saying, about Lane Frost. If you guys want to find out any more about him, and kind of some of the deep things about him, you guys could go and watch Tough Headman, which was a very good friend of his on YouTube, and he's always talking about it because I mean he knew him. They were some of the best friends, and he always talks about him on a personal level.
You know what? Speaking of bull riding, Dale Brisby has this new segment come out, Rodeo Rex. So his the female bull rider, I forget her name always, that's on his team. She's running the Instagram Rodeo Rex account, and she's just taking videos of that people send her of pretty gnarly wrecks from rodeos, whether it's bull riding or calf roping or bulldogging or whatever, and they post them on there, and then Dale will get with her and do a podcast style video of his reaction to some of these wrecks, and it is hilarious. His reaction is great. The segment is really well done. It's just it's probably I commented and said this is my new favorite segment, and so it's really good. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. Dale Brisby. I think he's got 2 or 3 of them out so far. They're not very long. They're maybe 15 minutes, something like that. They do like 5 wrecks at a time with his reaction. So that's really, really cool. All right.
It's awesome.
How about you guys? What else we got?
That's awesome.
Lionel?
Well,
not
No,
to,
go ahead.
no, I was
Sorry,
going to
go
say,
ahead,
I mean, we also got, it's kind of part of what we were talking about earlier, but the NFR finals and Cowboy Christmas, that's something that since, I don't think I mentioned that last time, but, I from, Cowboy Boots Hats and Western Life Enthusiasts have booked that. So that's going to be a really awesome thing that, I could bring to y'all. And also, I think Joe Bradburn in the Cowboy Cartel might be joining us. Maybe, hopefully.
We'll see. I hope so. That'll be cool. I gotta work out my schedule. As Lionel and Dale say, God willing, I'll be there. So we'll see. I'll tell you what, I cannot make it to NFR and not.
Unfortunately, we were trying to be there, but
What's that?
so unfortunately, we were going to try to be there at the same time, but we've got a wedding that weekend, so unfortunately, we got a prior obligation.
I've got Christmas in Mexico, unless my wife is here at the time. At the time, so I'll either be able to go to NFR or I'm going to have to go to Mexico. So we'll see. That's still up in the air at the moment.
If you go to Mexico, you got to do a segment on Leon.
My wife doesn't let me go to Leon. I've been there. I've talked about this in previous podcasts. It's too dangerous. Leon is in Guanajuato, and that is one of the most dangerous areas right now. We have lived in Querétaro, which is the next state over from Guanajuato, for many years now, and she doesn't even let me go across the state border, or the state border anymore. So can't even go get good steak anymore. But I would love to go to Leon. It is dangerous though. So Dale, hats hats and boots. You guys got anything interesting coming up? Anything you're interested in seeing?
You know, as you guys know, I've got an American coming. We haven't quite figured out what we're gonna do quite yet. Definitely at least gonna be 100X, and I'm excited to get an American filled in. Also, you know, I'm excited for it to be cold. You know, we're not far around the corner from that fall weather, and definitely getting a lot cooler in the southern states. You know, being able to wear a felt and a pair of jeans and boots and not die is, you know, always a good plus.
So Mike K is asking about the differences and similarities between Mexico and Texas, and I've lived in Mexico many years, and so Querétaro City is pretty large city, and so when I was down there a couple months ago, and we went to the mall, and I was the only guy, you know, wearing a cowboy hat, and then all of a sudden there was another guy wearing a cowboy hat, and I was like, hey, you know, I feel like I fit in now, you know. So it's kind of a big city, and you don't see it very often, but I have been to ranches in Mexico, and you know, not some huge ranches, but you know, everybody's got every time you get out of the city, somebody's got a little ranch. You know, they've got one cow and a bunch of chickens or something. You know, everybody, you know, they're trying to support their family on a small ranch or a ranchito. But I love Mexico. I would love to have a ranch there, but my wife is a city girl, and she is not having it.
One thing that I could tell you, Mike, to answer your question is the only thing I know that is a big difference between Texas and Mexico is in Texas or in the whole United States we wear snip toes, and they got those really long pointy toes, really long, like a stretch limo.
Some of them do, but you know what, and cowboy hats.
I've seen some crazy stuff on some of those boots.
Oh my God! On cowboy boots hats and Western Life enthusiasts, pictures of those stretched out limo snip toes.
Right. Well, you know, in Mexico, there's kind of a stigma to a cowboy hat. It's associated with the cartel, and not the Cowboy Cartel, the Mexican cartel. And so, you know, some people don't like it. Anyway, yeah, there's it's a completely different culture, but you know, we've got a lot of people from Mexico in the group, and it makes up. I can look at the demographic. I'd have to check it at the moment, but I think there's like 6,000 members from Mexico alone in the American Hat Company group, and I get messages all the time from people in Mexico. So, you know, it's a big part of our group, and we appreciate that they are there, and we want to help them get the hats that they want. I've got some contacts down there who are selling in American hats, and hopefully we've got some new ones coming in soon. So we'll see about that. But
they're great boots, too.
We might look into
anyway,
it.
Mike is asking if we have any suggestions for tips for boots in the hot heat. So for me, I would say keeping it traditional. You know, making it all leather. That kind of takes away the heat. Also, there's certain leathers that just breathe better, such as goat skin, um, full quill ostrich, and a few of these other skins that they just kind of breathe better than others.
so
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I mean, with a good leather boot, there's been times where it's been 100 degrees and I've been sweating and my feet are cold. I mean,
Yeah.
they'll breathe
Uh,
very
not a
well.
black boot for sure. I remember I wore some black. I wore
Yeah,
some black
brown saddle.
elephant boots when I was in Fort Worth the first time for the first Best Hat Store video, and my feet were on fire. Something, maybe not a hung leather lining. I mean, it's, I don't know. You know, I mean, I haven't done too bad with the Anderson beans. Those are pretty comfortable. Rough out is going to be a little cooler, I think. Light colors. I mean, you can always do
I would say rough out might be a little hotter.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something thinner. But I'm excited to get some Fenolios.
You know, the biggest thing with something like that is just preference.
That's
man.
true.
If the
Oh,
boot's
yeah.
comfortable too.
If they don't rub on your foot, then you're not going to have that heat friction.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to some Fenolio rough outs coming soon. I got to do a review on those. I got to get with Trey tomorrow and see about getting those in. All right.
For me, as far as what's coming up, I do have, and I got to see how long that's going to be, but I do have a Farini wide square toe black lizard boot review that's coming up, and also I will be doing a comparison between American straw hat and versus Resistol straw hat.
So I'm going to do. So I've the Fenolio boot video will be available tonight on Cowboy Cartel Group. I'm going to be doing. I'm finally doing the Lucchese Terlinguas. That video is coming this week. I know I've been saying that for months, but I had problems breaking these in. I had problems breaking them in. I've had a lot of problems with the chocolate ones, and actually, you know, they're pretty comfortable on my feet right now. So I feel a little better doing the review. They are a hard boot to break in. The black ones have been broken for 6 months, and they are so much more comfortable than the brown ones. And it is just the toughness of that elephant skin. It's such a noticeable difference between one that's already broken in and a new one that you really, I had to get it right before I wanted to actually do a review on it. So I think, you know, I wore them today. I'm liking them. So that I'll get that today or this week. Let me know. You guys want a review of the 500X? I mean, I know I've done the hat shaping and you know, the interviews with Joby and Best Hat Store. Excuse me. But are you interested in seeing a review of the 500? Do we want to see a 7X? Do we want to see a 10X? Do we want to see a 40X? What do you want to see? I can do all of those. I also have. I've got to do the Ruho review. That's coming up. So these are all things coming up. All right, Lionel. Where can they find you? Other than I'm going to put your contact information in the show notes on YouTube. If you have not seen our YouTube video, because this is going to be on Spotify and everywhere, check us out on YouTube, Cowboy Cartel Group, or Lionel.
Cowboy Boots, Hats, and Western Life Enthusiast. We're on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Check us out. We got a lot of videos, multiple different things. So it's not just boots and hats. It's, you know, I'm trying to, you know, kind of blow it up into more things, but mainly Western wear.
Right, and so you can always find us at cowboycartelgroup.com, and there are links to all of our social media. You can contact the show at the podcast at cowboycartelgroup.com, and visit our American Hat Company Enthusiast group on Facebook. There's a lot going on there, posts every day.
Yes, sir.
Did I miss anything? Bye, Mike. Thanks for watching.
Yep. That's
Thanks
good.
for your comments.
Yeah, definitely. They've been keeping the show alive.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
And he wants to see, cool to see comparison
Absolutely.
between high and low X factors. So from the same company. So I'll do a video on the 7X, the 10X, and 40X, and the 500X. We'll just get them all. And so I don't know how I'll structure that yet.
We're looking. Oh,
No, go ahead.
sorry. Good. I was going to say, Mike, we're looking forward to seeing you in Cowboy Christmas in Cowboy Christmas, and then if our finals over in Vegas, if you want to come. We are going to be kind of doing a meet at Cowboy Christmas within the first 2 or 3 days. So if any of y'all from the Cowboy Boots House and Western Life enthusiast groups are planning on going to Cowboy Christmas, don't forget to reach out when I put that post up.
Or Cowboy Cartel or the American Hat Company Enthusiast Group. Absolutely come and see Lionel, or if I'm there, come and see us both.
Yep, most definitely.
All right, guys.
I'll post it everywhere anyway.
It's a great show. I'm always glad to see you. Hopefully, if we get a few more views weekly, we might have to do this every week. So if you guys watch this and like it and want to see it more often, let us know, and we'll work on that. All right.
Glad to do it.
All right. Thanks for joining us, guys. Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Appreciate it, guys.